Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day guys and welcome to episode 162 of All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian Fishing Podcast. I'm better after that sound of a fresh frothy Rhodey. How are you?
I'm not bad, mate. We're on the Cooper's Australian Lagers tonight. That's really supporting local, isn't it?
Love these beers. They're very good. Very good indeed. Basically most of the Cooper's range I'm a fan of.
Oh, you actually know what we had on Mother's Day?
Did you have an extra stout?
A stout.
Did you?
Yeah.
What sort of stout?
Just a Cooper's stout.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Did you rate it?
Oh, much better than when we used to drink them playing backyard cricket and we played six and stout back in the day.
I think part of our problem there was we had them warm.
Yeah, and we drank like six of them.
I've had Guinness off tap at the pub the last few times.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, fine.
Nice.
Didn't split the G.
Bit of a loser.
Bit of a soft effort.
Yeah, all right. Well,
you've got to have a fair bit of liquid to split the G.
Yeah.
Fair bit of liquid.
Yeah,
anyway.
better than I thought it was going to be the stout.
Yeah, good call.
Is this a beer fishing podcast, a beer podcast, or a fishing podcast?
It's a great opening though. We've got Tyson Kain. Everyone who loves barrel fishing, tuna fishing, or keeps up to date with some of the best charters across the state will know Tyson. He's been on the show before. He's doing well on the barrels. He's going to join us later on and give us a bit of a rundown of the Port Mac fishing comp and the barrel season so far. So we're looking forward to having a chat with him, aren't we, Rhodey?
We are, Diz. Yes, he's always very informative. And they've had the fishing competition, not just tuna, down there recently, Diz. So it'd be good to hear about that as well.
Yep, good shout. Rhodey, let's get into our opening segment, of course, oranges and lemons, before we get stuck into the news and all of those other segments. Rhodey, what has been your orange?
Dizzy, me and Lucy did the half marathon, the Adelaide half marathon the other weekend, Diz, and I thought it was a very well-run event.
Well played.
And an enjoyable morning.
Look at you two go. How good is that?
Yes, it was real romantic.
Romantic half marathon.
I've actually had a few people message me asking how the romance of the running a half marathon was together. She was a bit off me when I started telling stories off my podcast. Didn't really like my chat.
Yeah, fair enough too.
But no, it was enjoyable and had a little breakfast afterwards and all that sort of stuff. So it's good to do, Diz.
Nice, mate. Well done. Very good. Well, my orange is going fishing on the weekend.
Yes, Dizzy, we are, and it's been too long. We haven't been whiting fishing in ages.
We have not been out for quite a while. The weather's played the game. Our calendars have aligned. Don't have any sort of significant commitments that we haven't had to wriggle our way out of.
And the weather is looking perfect, isn't it? Really good conditions. And your dad's going to come too, so that increased our bag limit to a whopping 15 fish.
Yeah. So don't put the mockers on us like that, mate. But yes, if we have success, we can catch up to 15 fish. 15
fish between three people. She could be all over in half an hour. Have I jinxed us?
From you. I think you've definitely jinxed us. I might not go fishing anymore. My lemon has been couple of close port losses.
Oh, Dizzy. They've had 2 1-point losses and 2 3-point losses, I reckon it is.
Yeah, and look, the showdown was probably one that maybe Port shouldn't have been in, but it was a close finish, and you do love that from a showdown. They've always have a way of bringing the game, but geez, it was disappointing they couldn't get over the line against the Dogs.
Yes, definitely a bit better than the last showdown, which was 99 points to the Crows.
Yeah, true. What was your lemon?
Dizzy, it's getting dark early. This time of year's tough getting home. You've only got half an hour of sunlight before the sun's gone and she's full pitch black. You got kids inside from like 5:30 running amok.
Yeah.
It's not like daylight savings when you can stay out there till 8:30, 9 o'clock easily.
Yeah. It's just, I'm a huge fan of daylight savings. Absolutely love it. So you're right. This time of year, especially, it sort of is starting to get cold too. We're going to have a bit of wetness.
It's been beautiful during the day, but you're right. It's cold first thing in the morning and late at night.
Yeah, we're just starting to get that winter weather. But anyway, Rhodey, what's been doing the rounds on the socials?
Dizzy, not heaps really. We'd put up a couple of reels promoting the Ledge Runner, which we spoke about in the last podcast. So that's a good product, and I saw him getting barrels on that.
Quite a bit of traction for some of those socials around the artificial reefs and some of that stuff that we'll talk about in the news.
Yep.
But
that was launched too.
Yeah, there's been a fair bit of sort of like, obviously there's been a lot of chatter about the government sort of closing squid fishing. That post that we put up just went absolutely gangbusters.
Yeah, I think that was just
Hundreds
before the
of
last
thousands
episode.
of
But yeah,
views.
that continued to get lots of traction after the last episode. So that's been a good one too, Diz.
Yeah, very good. All right, Rody. Well, without us sort of carrying on too much further or getting sidetracked about beer commentary, let's get stuck into the news.
Rody and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state, and we'll give you the rundown on what you need to know.
Some good news in this section, Rody, for us to get through before we get into tackle item of the week and the guest, Tyson, later on in today's episode. So let's get stuck into the news. And as I said just a minute ago, let's talk a bit about those artificial reefs. It's an exciting announcement from Wreckfish.
Certainly is, Dizzy, and they're good-looking structures. They're like a pyramid shape, most of them.
With some holes in it. It's kind of...
Yeah, like it's hollow inside, basically.
Yeah.
It's like a pyramid made up of like a frame.
sort of like a teepee almost. Without the cloth over
Sort
the
of, yeah. And I think there was two big ones that were like 2.2 metres tall.
Mm.
And then I think it was like 60 or something, smaller ones that were still like fairly large.
Yeah.
And then some littler ones again. And they're going in the water, I think this month, this year, in the next few weeks anyway. And they're putting some of them off Wirrina on the Fleurieu Peninsula and also off Nepean Bay on Kangaroo Island, Diz.
Yeah. So I think they were, weather dependent, obviously, but I think it was going to be the week starting the 25th. So probably a week or so off, but they're ready to go. They've done their media.
Yeah, they had an open day the other day, which looked really good, Diz. So the government put in $600,000 as a part of a total of $162 million in that algae response. So good to see that going into getting some fish growing and breeding and plenty of fishing opportunities once they go in the water, Diz.
And all of the structure kind of had like a lot of oyster shells.
Yeah, and that's supposed to regrow more oyster, I think, is the theory.
Yeah.
So the oyster binds to the new oysters bind to the old oysters.
Yeah. Do you reckon they concrete those oysters in?
I reckon they did by the looks.
Yeah, they must.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just dump them down there without concreting them in, otherwise they'd just float away.
Yeah, obviously, mate.
But very good looking structure anyway. McMahon's was the team behind the construction of them, I believe.
Yeah, they were definitely involved, and I think they now put them on a barge and send them down when the weather's good.
Yep, good stuff. Well, I'm sure that it'll be a little while before they're productive, and we'll be following that along very closely. But, certainly a great effort by the government to provide some habitat for fish to grow and help with our fish stocks into the future. So, look, I'll say one thing. I think it's great that they're doing this in response to the algal bloom, but I'd love to see it continue no matter what.
Yes, Diz, particularly with the snapper and all the talk about that and getting that going again as a fishery. And I know it's great that they're doing it off KI and the Fleurieu. It'd be great to see some over on Yorks and Spencer
Metro.
Golf and all around the state. Would be really
Even
good
Metro
to
would
see.
be good.
Yeah, it would.
Righto, Rody, that's a good one. Tell us about the Gulf St Vincent Pro closure extensions.
So yes, Dizzy, it was closed in November after the algal bloom devastated the fishery, and it was originally scheduled to reopen in July subject to review, but members of the Marine Scale Fish Committee have been involved, and it is going to continue that ban across the whole of Gulf of St Vincent until May 2027. That was finalised last week. It's going to affect around 50 businesses that operate in the Gulf of St Vincent, Diz.
There you go. We feel for those businesses, of course. The algal bloom has had a devastating impact across tourism, fishing, and no doubt definitely a significant effect on the state's economy overall. But hopefully we're starting to see some improvement. hopefully kind of, things just continue to improve, because I think it's fair to say there's been signs of improvement.
Yeah, there certainly has in some species, Diz, and I suppose you do feel for those pros. There was originally, I think, 350 grand, it says here, for businesses significantly impacted. And the South Australian Professional Fishers Association has said that they would be looking for some more financial support, which hasn't been announced yet, and that means that their fishers have zero income potential for the next 12 months, so it's going to be obviously really hard for them.
Yeah, brutal. All right, well, we'll keep watching that one closely. Rhodey, this was a bit somber in some respects, but a sort of a new somebody taking the helmet sport fishing scene. Clifty's sold.
He has, Dizzy. He has. And that's been, I think, in the pipeline for a while.
Yes.
I think Clifty's been stepping back a bit. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, well, he has been. I think he's still been, obviously. Well, we've seen him in there a couple of times, so he's certainly not kind of hung the boots up and not walked back in, but I think he's sort of been handing over the reins somewhat.
And Darren James has been taking over. He's been doing a lot of the management, and he's now bought the business, and he's going to continue running it. So I would say, firstly, congratulations to Clifty. He's ran that store for a very long time and made it, one of, if not the best tackle store in the state, is he?
An icon.
And legitimately you go in there and you get really good advice from all his staff. So they've done a really good job there. But as I say, Darren's sort of been running the show on and off for quite a while and has been managing the shop, and what that means is probably not a lot's going to change, hopefully, Diz.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly a really great base to build upon for Darren. Like you said, it's been, an absolute icon tackle store for the state for a very long time, and I'm sure it'll remain that way. So, as you say, congratulations to Clifty. We hope we know he'll do well on the fishing, but we just hope he sort of gets to enjoy it, get out there a bit more often. And to Darren, no doubt going to take things his own way, and no doubt do some great things into the future. So that's good. While we're on the subject of tackle stores, Rhodey, this one is a bit more of a somber story. This relates to the Ram. So this is the bait and tackle store at North Haven that a lot of you listeners who fish out of North Haven will know well. They've done a wonderful job engaging the fishing community and had a great service out of there. I think, Clifty and a lot of other people in the industry have been very clear about the continuous challenges that they've faced around snapper closure, even back to COVID, snapper closure, lot of changes. Then, of course, the algal bloom, and I think probably that's been just the icing on the cake for the ramp. So they've done a big post just explaining their, heartfelt thanks to all of the community that supported them, but unfortunately they're not continuing the operation.
Yeah, so Andrew Mazzino has ran the business for a bit over 6 years, and his turnover dropped from 50 grand to 12 grand in just 1 year. So it's a pretty significant drop. It's hit the business really hard. I think he worked there, ran it with his dad largely, and that one made the media, Diz. So that's sort of been, one of those things that pops up in the media and becomes a bit of the face for this algal bloom about some of the businesses that have been affected, and obviously really sad. And it's a bit of a loss to the industry, and hopefully there's not more to come.
Yeah. Well, thank you to them for all their service. It's very good, and wish them all the best, that's for sure. Rhodey, this is a bit of a newer story. This is the pilchards washing up at Marion Bay. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Dizzy, that hit the news probably the last day or two, and it was hundreds, thousands of pilchards all over the beach at Marion Bay.
First I saw it, I thought, it's all the weed and somebody's complaining about the boat ramp. But then I had a bit of a closer look. It was obviously a fish kill of sorts with all the pilchards washing up.
Obviously, everyone's first assumption, maybe wrongly, is that it's the algal bloom, but there's obviously testing going on. I don't think they necessarily think it is related to the algal bloom. I think this sort of dying has happened before, Diz, and I've read somewhere that there'd been quite a few pro boats out fishing for pilchards out in those waters. So whether or not these have been netted and died for some reason, or some sort of a breakout from the net, damage to the net is what I'm trying to say, or something along those lines. We have seen these deaths of, like mass deaths of pilchards and similar species in years gone by unrelated to the algae. So we're not necessarily putting those two things together, Diz.
Yeah, that's right, Rody. Well, I'm sure there'll be an investigation done. We'll see what the outcome is there.
And I think if you read, some people have commented how red the eyes on the fish look and suggesting that means that they may have been frozen on one of the pro boats. So whether or not that's true or not, I'm not certain.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a theory people are going with.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be more news to come because there'll be an investigation done like there always is, importantly, so that we can establish exactly what's going on and, away they go from there. So that's a good one. All right, Rody. Well, I think that just about wraps up the news segment for today. Let's get into the tackle item of the week before we get on the phone to Tice.
Now it's time for Rody and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
Well, anybody who has been following along the podcast for some time will know that we do have, the best anchor, in my view, on the market on our boat, the boomer anchor. We've talked about that, haven't we?
Yes, Dizzy, we have. We've had Duncan on the podcast. We've talked about that as our tackle item, I'm sure, and everyone knows that they're a great product.
They do. And I think one thing that you all need to know is that there's some important tackle that comes along with having a anchor like that on your boat.
Certainly if you want to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Because
whenever you drop an anchor over, especially if the conditions are not as favourable, but you've got currents underwater, you've got structure, you've got sand, you've got reef, you've got the boat swinging around, etc., and if you don't have a good quality swivel for your anchor attached, I'm talking like a really high quality stainless steel swivel attached that connects the chain to your anchor, then you're just going to get a lot of twisting, a lot of turning. That's going to damage your rope. It's going to put pressure on that rope, and you don't want to snap them off because, of course, your anchor is a very important part of being out on the water. So what we're talking about today, as I said, is the swivel for an anchor.
Dizzy, we are, and you just bought us one. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a really great product. Of course, if you want to buy any of this sort of thing, you're heading straight down to Christie's Beach Marine. I picked up myself a bit of a Yeti item while I was there. Just a little shout out for the Christie's Beach Marine crew. They've got an amazing range of Yeti equipment. So grab something there, and then I just ducked over and grabbed us a swivel because we've lost ours.
We have Diz, and I'm just having a look now. It's 12 to 16 mil, 316 cast stainless steel. What do you reckon the breaking strain on this sort of product is, Diz?
Oh, I don't know, mate. It'd be a lot.
1,200 kilos.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be north of a ton.
Yeah, it's a fair bit.
Serious. So very good. Love that. Shout out to the Christie's Beach Marine crew. Get yourself a swivel for your anchor if you haven't got one. But just get down there and check out the Christie's Beach Marine store. I've got a great range of kit down there, and you can do a bit of window shopping. Of course, you've got North Banks in the showroom, and the boats we also love in Stabbycraft in there as well.
Very good, Dizzy. That's a nice little tackle item of the week. And without any further ado, let's get Tyson Kain on from Want to Fish Charters down in the southeast at Port Mac. Let's get him on the line.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
Righto, Rody. We are very lucky to have Tyson Kain, the man behind Want to Fish Charters. Mate, thanks for coming on the show again. This is your 3rd appearance. You must be very well and truly comfortable behind the mic, as they say by now.
Yeah, definitely, boys. Thanks for having me back once again. So, starting to get used to it.
All right, we had you on episode 76, then 110, and you're back for 162. It's been a couple of years since we had you on, Tice. So tell us, we're not going to ask you all the questions, but tell us about a memorable fish over the last couple of years.
So probably one of the most recent memorable ones was, a Mako that we got on charter a couple of weeks ago. The boys come down. We actually got a barrel in the morning. Well, a small barrel, was 58 kilos, I reckon. And then they decided they wanted to go for a bit of a bottom fish. So we said, we'll go and try and get some shark, put the anchor down, and a bit slow at first. And then we started getting a couple of little fish, and then picked up a couple of nice school shark. And then it was getting late in the hour. I said, "Oh, right, we might wind them up, boys, and we'll go chase a tuna again, see if we can get another bit bigger model." And as soon as they wound up, rods just got inside the boat. One of the boys looked over and went, "Holy hell, what's that thing?" And I looked over the side and went, "That's a big Mako, quick." So grabbed a handful of pillies, chucked them over the side, keep him interested. Run in the cab, grabbed out a wire trace, pulled out a whole torpedo squid. Whipped that on the hook, dropped it straight over. He turned straight back around and, took it straight. But we were still on the anchor at that stage. So luckily it didn't play up at first. He sort of just done some figure eights next to the boat and told one of the boys, "Right, go and chuck a gimbal and harness on because I think you might need it for this one." So anyways, I needed to get him far enough away from the boat to deal with him later on. So I need to get the anchor up. So I said, "Right, he's ready?" They went, "Yep." I went, "Righto." Give him a couple of big jerks on the rod and reacted just how I like. He took off, screamed line out, popped up out of the water 2 or 3 metres, done a big flip in the air. The boys' jaws near hit the deck. And they went, "Oh, geez, that looks pretty big. What's that, 40, 50 kilos?" I went, "I reckon it's a bit bigger than that, boys. Here you go, strap in." So, he got far enough away from the boat that we could pull the anchor up and then got the anchor up and settled into the fight. And then I quickly realised I didn't have a flying gap on board either. So that was going to make it a little bit tricky. So I sort of prepped one of the guys who was pretty excited and pretty confident on his abilities. So I said, "Right, you're going to be my main man here." I said, we need to get this fish up and get a tail rope on him because, he's going to be pretty excited when he gets to the boat. So after about 20 minutes, I got him on the leader. And got him up close to the boat. Managed to get a knife into his gills and start him bleeding. He took off again, come back another 10 minutes later, done the same thing. So he's slowly bleeding out. And then the third time we got him back, he was sort of docile enough that the fella could just gaff the tail lightly and put a tail rope on him. And then he was ours after that. So it couldn't have worked out any better. So, after we tied him for a little while and he was subdued, we got him on board and the boys decided it was time to head home, and he ended up coming in at 108 kilos. So,
that's a big fish.
That was a pretty memorable one, that's for sure.
Oh, very good, and fair bit of flake in that.
Yeah, definitely. It was actually really, really nice quality when we filleted him up. It came out real well. The boys were actually very surprised; they'd never had it before, and I got a message a couple of days later, and they couldn't believe how nice it was. So,
and they still taste just as good that size.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a female too, so that sort of does help. I find that the males tend to have a little bit more of that ammonia sort of taste and smell in it, where this one didn't either. So, yeah.
Very good, very good. Now, Tice, tell us about the barrel season. It's been a good start down there in the southeast from what we've been seeing.
It has. It's kicked off with a bit of a bang. I think the first. Well, I had some issues with the boat, which set me back for the first week with a snap drive shaft. But once I got onto the fish and got back out there, I think in the first 11 days I fished 5 straight, had one off, and another 5 straight. And out of them 10 days, I'd put 11 fish on the boat for customers. So, that was a pretty good start. I think it was only one day that we missed out, and we had a couple of days where we had 2 fish for the day. So, pretty good start of the season.
And is this earlier than normal to be getting this many fish, Tice? Is this a better start than often?
Nah, this is just as well what normal can be. It's pretty well that start of April. That's what I always plan around when I come back from Wirrina. Start of April is when we tend to see the big fish start rocking up, and I think the first big ones were caught within the first week to week and a half of April, so they were pretty well on time.
There you go, because it sort of felt like you'd kind of packed up for Wirrina and no sooner had been down there and got stuck straight into them. So I bet you would have been pretty chuffed with, the start of that. No doubt some very happy customers as well, as you say. If you did, that well in that many days, everyone would have been absolutely stoked with that. They're such amazing fish, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And this year it's been really good. We've seen a lot Not a lot of huge ones this season have come in. There has been the odd ones cracked that 120 from some of the other fellas, but been a lot in that sort of 40, 50, 60, 70 kilo, which I reckon it's good to see them smaller, medium sort of size fish coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there heaps of school tuna there as well? Have you sort of needed to fight your way through them, or just mainly some of those bigger models?
Nah, they've come in waves. The school fish. There was a few at the start, and we didn't see any barrels. Then a few barrels mixed in with them. Then they sort of moved on, and then we've sort of seen a few here and there over a couple of weeks. And then we're actually getting a little bit worried about the tuna comp, which we'll obviously touch on after. But there wasn't many leading up to that week, and then the first day, it's happened a few times. They just come out of the blue, and all of a sudden they're there, which is really good for chasing on light line and stuff, which makes the competition really good.
Beautiful. And what about are the trailer boats doing okay? Like the recos that come down, catching a few barrels as well?
Yeah, well, it's surprising. Well, it's not surprising, but it has been good this season at Port Mac. There's been a lot of the barrels spread out between here and well over into Victoria. So the boats have been spread out everywhere. So I think apart from the tuna comp, one of our busiest days before that leading up was probably only about 8 to 10 boats. Wow. So it's been really, really good fishing out there for how many boats there has been.
Yeah, excellent. Now, you've mentioned it a couple of times, and we're really keen to get a good wrap-up of the comp. So tell us about it, mate. You said that the fish rocked up, so that was obviously a very a good start to the comp. But, as you always know with those comps, the catching the fish part is really just a bonus. It's always great. I'm sure you just every time get to catch up with mates that travel down for it, and the town comes alive for the comp, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. We were a little bit concerned with the weather for this year. Obviously, the 10 days that I'd done fishing out of the 11 was leading up to the comp, and that was absolutely beautiful conditions the whole time. And, of course, what happens every year with the comp normally, it gets to comp week and the weather turns absolutely terrible. So I think we still fished 4.5 days out of the 7 or 8 days that the comp is. So we were a little bit concerned that the weather may turn a few people away, but I think I don't know the full total count, but I think we had up to well over 100 anglers in the comp this year, which is really awesome. Good to see. Anytime we can get over the 100 mark, it's good. So no, it turned into a really good week. Like you said, we've got people that travel from away and come over, and it always ends up being a good week. It worked out well, which most people are happy with each year. If the Thursday is a rough day, that's absolutely perfect, because Wednesday night's a fellowship night, and no one feels guilty about not fishing the next day because they're hungover if the weather's terrible. And yeah, we definitely turn one on this year, that's for sure.
Very good, Tyson. It's one of those competitions that there's something for everyone. There's sweep and King George whiting and flathead, and then you've got your gummy sharks and plenty of tuna. It really caters for anything you want to go for, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does, and that's the best part about the run up from Saturday through the following Saturday. You've got your 8 days of fishing. You can pick and choose what you want to go and chase, and it's all species. It's a GFAA affiliated competition or sanctioned competition, so you got to abide by the GFAA rules, but we still have some of our other smaller species, localized species that we add into the comp for points and that as well. So you can be pretty tactical about the way you approach it and what you want to chase. And if you do that, you can be very successful and walk away with a fair few prizes. And
how'd you go, Tice, on the week?
Oh, we come out of the gates like a bat out of hell on the first day, and we went 7 from 7 on barrels. So we tagged 6 barrels and kept 1. I was being a bit of a rod hog because, look, this is my week off to fish. I'm catching them for everyone else all the time. So, I was pretty quick to grab the rods. Had a couple of mates on board. Well, was one good mate, Linton. He's pretty good fisherman, and he's right into it. He wasn't actually going to fish the comp, but I twisted his arm and got him out with me because I needed a decky. And then another young fella, Brad, he actually was meant to fish on another boat, and they actually pulled the pin and didn't come for the comp. So he rocked up for briefing night, and And one of the fellas at the club said, "Oh, look, this young fella here, he's keen to go, but the boat's pulled out. He's looking for a boat." And I walked up to him. I didn't even ask him. I said, "How you going, mate? My name's Tyson. You're fishing with me this week." And I think he was pretty happy about that because he had never even caught a tuna. And first day, I jumped on the first one in the morning. It was probably about a 55, 60 kilo fish. And I was fishing 60 kilo line class on most of my rods. So it probably wouldn't have went line class. It was close to it. So we decided let's tag it, put it back. The next one was a school fish, which Brad jumped on. So that was his first tuna. Then we'd done a lot of steaming around for a while. And then about 1:30 in the arvo, we come right back out the front of Port Mac and just happened to find this big bait ball all to ourselves. First pass through, we hooked one. I jumped back on the rod again. Same thing, it was probably around a 60 kilo fish. So I decided to chuck another tag in it and let it go. Put the spread back out. The bait ball was still going. We drove through and had a triple hook up. So it was a bit of pandemonium there with three of us on the boat. I jumped on a rod. Well, Linton jumped on a rod. I passed one rod. The other, Brad grabbed one, and I went, "Here you go, strap up. Good luck. Here's your first barrel." I jumped on one as well. So, we ended up landing all three, tagging two, and we had a bit of a moment where I had my fish on one side, Linton had his fish on the other side, and he was on 37 kilo line, I was on 60. And so we're trying to work out which would be the better option to weigh one in for the comp and which one was bigger. He was on lighter line class, so we probably would have got more points. So we actually got his up, had a look at it. Then we got mine up and had a look at it. And then we decided, well, let's go with yours. You're on the lighter line. So we kept his and tagged mine and let it go. And Brad got his up to the side of the boat. I've actually got a video of it. I will put it online at some stage. But, I've had to put mine in the holder and just let it go and jump onto his and leader it. No gloves, nothing. Come up the side of the boat, then decided to take off to the front of the boat, and I wasn't letting go of the leader and end up snapping the rod.
No.
So not only was he green on fighting barrels, we've just snapped the rod as well on his first barrel. So quickly put gloves on, got a tag in it, and sent it on its way so I could jump back onto mine. So his first one, he got a tag and let it go, but snapped the rod as well. So he got the full experience on the first day.
How's that? You've never caught a barrel and go on, mate, just catch it on your own. We're busy catching our own fish. You sort it out.
Yeah, that's right. We only had 2 harness setups. So I actually had done that one fully unharnessed, no gimbal, no harness. I just had one of them rod butt foam things on the end of it. Lucky it was a straight butt rod that I had, and I'd just done it, just raw dogged it pretty well because we didn't really have another harness. So, that was that. And but then it was about 3:00. We called up and said we were hooked up on a triple on that, so we didn't know how long we were going to be. Then we decided, righto, we're going to be in by 4:00 for weigh-in. We've got a fish on the deck. We've cleaned it up, gilled and gutted it as per the comp rules, put it on ice. Right, we're on the way in. We steamed 1.5 miles inside and come across another 3 bait balls. And then we went, we can't help ourselves. All right, bugger it. So it was 3:15 when we found it. We put 3 rods in the water, 1 pass, double hook up, out of 3 rods. So 2 out of 3 went off. I jumped on another one. Linton jumped on the other one. I went around the boat twice, I reckon. Again, no harness, no gimbal. Got them both up, tags in them, and we were on the way again 15 minutes later. It was 3:30, and we were back on the way in.
Seriously. Wow.
We didn't quite make it in for weigh-in. We hit the breakwater at 3:00 to 4:00, and the weigh-in was at 4, so we actually missed the weigh-in, but the fish was still eligible to be weighed in and put on the next day's tally because we'd called up and said we were hooked up and that we were going to be late. Our comp rules are if you got to be there by 4:00 for the weigh-in unless you're hooked up and have called in prior. So we'd called that in, and because we'd actually called up, said, we're on the way in, we're all good. And then we called up, said, sorry, we're actually hooked up again. We're going, we'll be a bit late. So, that was probably a day that, I'll remember forever. 7 of the day. That's my best personal day on the boat ever.
Wow. And then do you spend the rest of the week going for tuna, or you had enough of tuna fishing after day one?
Nah, never had enough. The next day was what we class as an inshore day. So anytime the swell's over 2.5 with 20 knots of wind as well, we call it an inshore day. So you can fish in close to shore out to 2 nautical mile. That's just not fair for the different size ranges of boats. Like you've got mine that's 9 metres, you've got cray boats that are 60 foot, and then you've got 5 metre boats in the comp as well. So the big boats could get out there, but it's not fair on everyone else. So the committee decided it's an inshore day, so we won't weigh pelagic species like tuna and mako and all that, but we'll weigh in sharks, gummy sharks, snapper, and all your inshore stuff. So it was declared an inshore day. We decided to go down the coast and go fishing close, which was an absolute bust. We won 7 gill shark, and that was about it. So that day was not much for us to weigh in. The next 2 days, I think Monday. Yeah, Monday was no good, and then Tuesday was the next good day. We actually ended up getting back out. But yeah, it was pretty touch and go. The weather was pretty ordinary. We did troll all day. I think we tagged a few tuna, and then my daughter Scarlett come out with us. She'd been begging to come out, and she was devastated because she's just trying to chase her first barrel. She's only 11, but look, I've seen her on the rod and what she can do, even on the heavy gear. She's ready for it, and she'll probably outfish most blokes that I know. She had the option to come the first day, but she decided to go watch her sister play footy and wanted to go to the footy. So she was a little bit devastated.
She was regretting that, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, because going 7 from 7, there was plenty of chances for her to have a crack. So anyway, she missed out. So she come Tuesday. She tagged, I think 4 fish, or 3 or 4 school fish. No, sorry, she tagged 1, I think, and brought 2 to weigh in for the comp. So she actually ended up taking out biggest tuna for the juniors, which was a 12 kilo tuna.
Oh, good.
Oh, awesome.
So did you? I'm looking at all the award winners here. There's a lot of different prizes. Is there like a main prize that everyone wants to win?
The biggest prize is most meritorious tuna. That's the top prize. So biggest tuna on lightest line.
Yeah. So I'm looking. That was 76.6 kilo fish on 15 kilo line caught by Phil Orgel. That's a good fish. Good catch.
That was a cracker fish. That was on the first day too. So, he was leading that. And obviously with that comp, it's 1 fish, 1 prize. So you can only win 1 prize for your fish. So obviously you got your line class awards and all that. So he went, you win the better prize is what you take out first. So that fish would have taken out the 15 kilo line class, but because it was most meritorious, that took that one out.
Yeah, okay.
And our fish, up until the very last day, our fish that we weighed in, that Linton weighed in, was actually going to be the biggest fish, because that fish was bigger, but most meritorious takes precedent over biggest southern bluefin. So we were the next one in line for that, and it come down to the last day, and the boys on Hayth that got that one on 15 actually got 2, and one was on 24 kilo, which was the one that took out the heaviest bluefin tuna.
Close.
Yeah, we were close. We were leading up to it, and it's happened a few times. It comes down to the very last day, the last fish weighed in, and you get knocked off. But Linton still got the 37 kilo line class award, so he wasn't not going to win a prize for the fish. He still got something for it, which was good.
Yeah, that's epic, mate. And it sounds like an amazing week. Every time we've chatted to you about the comp, it always sounds like a wonderful week. It was great that you got over 100 anglers, and all I'd say, Rhodey, is let me be Brad next year. I'm just going to bloody
rock up and hang around like a bad smell
and go, wonder if Tyson needs a crew.
These boys are more than welcome to come down.
Very good. And Tice, before we leave you alone, we want a bit of a wrap up on the year or the season at Wirrina. Bit slow?
It was. We found some really good fish, bottom fishing. The tuna was obviously was pretty slow. Me and Brad from Fluoro Charters and another mate, as you would have seen, fished the Wirrina comp. And we sort of knew where some fish might have been. We had planes up early on the season. Wreckfish put a plane up, and Brad and Tracy from Game Fishing Club got a plane as well. We found fish at Cape Hart, and I got one and put one of the $10,000 tags in it. But that was probably 2-3 weeks before the comp. So we decided the weather was going to be pretty rough, and there wasn't not much chance of fish getting caught. So we decided, let's fill the boat and just send it, and we did. We worked it out, 60 nautical miles one way. So it was 120 nautical miles for the day that we done, and we ended up right around the bottom of KI. We just kept following birds, and eventually got a hook up. And the first one we got we waded in. It was 3 kilos, gilled and gutted. I've never been so excited to catch a 3 kilo tuna before than this, because we were like, yes, we've got it. The chances of anyone else finding tuna was very slim. We ended up taking out majority of all the tuna prizes, because between us and Brad's crew, who ventured out solo on his boat as well, we caught the only 3 or 4 or 5 tuna that were caught for the whole comp. So, look, it was worth it in the end. We battled some pretty gnarly weather and travelled a long way to do it, but we got the results. So, yeah. But being that they were that far away, it wasn't feasible to do that for a charter setting. It was too far to go just for one day for charter, just in the hope to try and find some. So obviously with the algal bloom up there, a lot of the inshore areas were still pretty barren, and it was tough to find fish there, which meant we had to travel a long way out to Sanders and further to find some decent bottom fish to keep the customers happy, which also meant that we were very weather dependent. So all in all, with bookings up there this year, I did have enough to keep me going, but I was definitely well down on previous years. So,
very good. Well, hopefully the algal bloom's a thing of the past, and we have a better year next year.
We can only hope so. But it's Mother Nature. We can't control that, so we'll just see how we go.
Yeah, that's it. And in the interim, mate, I hope you have a wonderful season. You've obviously had a great start, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of listeners out there jumping on your page to check out Wanna Fish and hopefully book in down there for a wonderful day out with you, mate. We've certainly enjoyed it every time we've been out with you on the water, and thanks very much for coming on the show and giving us a bit of an update, all things fishing from your perspective, mate. It's always great to have a chat with you, and thanks again for coming on the show.
Nah, my pleasure, boys. Thanks for having me on there.
Well, it's always great to have Tyson on the show.
It is, Dizzy. Third time's a charm. That was a great chat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. The Port Mac comp does sound like a great time.
Oh, we should just book it in and do a week one year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good?
It'd be amazing to do in your own boat, but certainly by the sounds of things as well, like they're obviously a very welcoming bunch. Like for that Brad guy to be able to just jump on, it clearly shows you that they're all about getting people on the fish, and clearly a very well-run comp. And it's unique as well. Like I like that it's a week. I like that they've got, a lot of those kind of rules and stuff in place to give a broad range of people to be able to get points and get on the board and win a prize and that sort of thing. Yeah,
it's cool to be able to go for a barrel one day and then a whiting or a flathead the next. Like, certainly something different.
Yeah, no, good stuff. All right, Rody, let's get into the fishing report.
Rody and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
Righto, Rody, we've had a bit of a decent wrap-up, I think, of the barrels from Tice. There's probably not a lot else to report there, but what I would say is you just never know where they might pop up next. We've obviously had seasons in the past where people have got them Yorks. We've heard a lot about from Port Lincoln Way with previous guests. So you just want to keep your ear close to the ground on that one.
Yeah, haven't heard of any yet, have you, Diz? Yorks or Port Lincoln, but as you say, keep an ear to the ground because you'd think they'll go there at some point.
Yeah. And the Port Mac fishing comp, as we say, always sounds like a great time. Clearly some winners there and, something for everyone, I think it's fair to say.
Certainly is, Diz. I just love the way you can go for such a wide variety of species. It's really appealing.
King George whiting, Rody, we're getting into that winter whiting season, aren't we? So, York Peninsula, Port Vic, those sort of places are firing. I've heard that Edithburg is fishing reasonably well.
Yeah.
now, which obviously that got smashed pretty hard with the algal bloom, so that's really pleasing.
Haven't heard as many Metro reports?
No, I haven't heard a lot of Metro either, but to be honest, I wonder whether like that Metro just did cop a bit of a like, oh, everywhere's got the algal bloom, even though we all know that it wasn't really the case. But who knows whether they're back there firing or not.
I'd like to go to North Haven again in the next couple of months and have a crack, because we have had a bit of success there in the past couple of years.
Yeah, good call. Righto, Rudy, where's the salmon biting?
I think there's salmon are biting everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah.
Flurio's been going hot. Yorks has been going hot down the bottom of Yorks. Some good-sized fish too, Dizzy, off like Carricalinga and Moana and some of those sort of mid-coast Flurio beaches is probably the highlight at the moment, Diz.
Yep, and you just want to patrol the beaches, look for those dark patches where you might be able to see a school and get yourself a little slug lure and just sling them out there and you'll have a great time. They fight well.
They're good fun.
They're good fun catch.
Absolutely good fun. And the Elliston Australian Salmon Comp, I think that might start of June, so that's not far away.
Yeah, we
and
love
there's always
covering
some
that.
massive salmon caught in that competition.
Yeah, there really is. Roddy, this is a great story to finish on, isn't it? This is a Port Augusta story. So Tackle World Port Lincoln have whacked this up on their page. Of course, they've just reshared it from the person that caught it. But tell us, Roddy, what was caught out of Port Augusta?
2 mahi-mahi.
Unbelievable.
Not just 1, 2.
2.
That shows it's not a fluke. I wonder if it's Robbie Mack 17 is the person who shared the post, and then as we say, it was shared by Tackle World Port Lincoln, tagged at Port Augusta there on the boat ramp there, and 2 good sized mahi-mahi, and I'd be fascinated to know, were they targeting them? Did they know they were there, or was it a coincidence?
Yeah, maybe they were out there trying to get some early season kings or something, then stumbled across them. Who knows?
Very interesting. But you'd dare say if there was 2, there probably wasn't just 2.
Yeah, you'd think so.
It's not just one lost fish. If there was 2 lost fish, maybe there were lots of them.
Yes, that's right. Amazing story. Of course, we love covering those random catches, and those 2 are certainly up there with some pretty epic catches in waters that you wouldn't really... You're not going out there targeting mahi-mahi, are you?
You're not, and you say it's a random thing, but these random things just happen all the time. And it just goes to show you never quite know what's going to rock up.
Yeah,
we see swordfish, sailfish, mahi-mahi, all these things that we're not supposed to see that occasionally we just do.
That's it. All right, Rody, juicy little fishing report there for the listeners. Love that. That wraps up a pretty good episode, I'd say.
Yeah, it is really good to chat with Tice. Plenty of news, plenty of fishing reports. So it was a good episode all round, I'd say.
Yeah, everyone knows where to find us. Anywhere you get your podcast, you'll see this podcast. So get around it. Share it with your friends and family. Send us in your photos. Send us in a voice memo. Just get engaged.
We should run another comp soon, Diz.
And winter is a time where you can't always be doing fishing, so you want to be talking about fishing. So send us in a voice memo. Get around it. Good to speak to you.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Rody and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.